Hey, SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit. This is a heartfelt, apologetic letter written by both me, Jeremy C. Ray Jr., who is narrating this video, as well as Vladman, 55 to 55, with input included from Paris B, Sauce, and other associates. What we have done, it is, to say the least, unspeakable. I am sickened to my stomach just thinking about the fact that we, your good people, allowed this to happen. For those of you who may not know, I will explain this. That is what the purpose of this video is, to explain this, to apologize, to try to rebuild connections, friendship, and most of all, attack and defeat the BBT Confederacy as one people, one nation. If you already know this, however, and you are sickened by this, as is SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit, you can please skip to the timestamp that is displayed on your screen of whatever device you are using, whether it be your phone, tablet, television system, Roku, cable box, Macintosh, or personalized computer. What had happened the night before, I have a lot of trouble just reliving this event. It turns my stomach, and I'm so sorry that you'll have to hear this. I am so genuinely sorry. I will do anything for you to never hear this ever. The pain that we experience, the deep bellowing sorrow that stings like a stabbing in the stark bleak night must be tenfold for you, the viewers, and it must be hundredfold for you, SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit. Please, I warn you once more, skip to this timestamp that is displayed on the screen of your iPhone, Samsung tablet, television system, Roku, Macintosh, BlackBerry, or personalized computer, as you do not think that you can handle this. Now, if you think that you can handle this, stay tuned, watch more, and learn what happens. Now that you've been warned again, we must recount the terrible events that have led up to not only our personal downfalls, but the crumbling of a passionate friendship. The other night, I had received a knock on my door. I looked through the peephole and I saw a young lady standing there. She had a Bordeaux bouffant dress on, lace on the skirt, lace around her breasts, and lace on her sleeves. She had with her a rich, copper-colored baguette bag, black, shining high heels that slightly revealed her 3 center toes. Chesapeake, though. Chesapeake. Makeup that made her glares intense. Perfume that's unlike any perfume I had ever smelt in my life, especially beforehand. Damp, cold stones with notes of pine needles and miscellaneous tree barks. Her skin, it was collagen rich, so filled with energy and youth. She must have been about 22 years old, and everything about her was stunning. She had opened her mouth and began speaking to me, saying,
"Help me, sir. My phone has died and my GPS system that's built into my 2017 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk is broken. I am unsure as to where I am. I need a glass of water as well. Could you please help me?"
I stand on my tippy toes and lunge forwards a bit to try to see her 2017 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, and there it was on the other side of Old Clover Valley Road, where she had parked it. It was in fact a 2017 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, colored olive green. I leaned back and stop tippy-toeing, and I look at her face. Her graying blue eyes, luscious lips so glossed over, cute petite nose. I couldn't help myself to say yes more than I already had. You can probably already tell where this is going. However, I won't explicitly say it yet. I let her into my home, unbeknownst as to what was really, truly going to take place. I get her a 24 fluid ounce cup of water. It was a glass cup. And with that, I put a handful of ice to make it especially cool and refreshing on that warm summer night. And I walked over to my computer to turn it on, to use an online map service. You probably heard of it. It's called Google Maps. I always use Google Maps since I atypically have trouble with Yelp Maps. I have nothing against Yelp Maps though. My cousin Moises Luis Vizcarrondo uses it all the time. It just isn't compatible with me for the most part. This is not me sending hate towards Yelp Maps. This isn't me sneak dissing Yelp Maps. This is just me talking about what works for me. And sadly, Yelp Maps doesn't work for me, and it's Google Maps that works for me. However, let us get back onto topic. So I choose to use Google Maps, and I'm on Google Maps, and she walks over to me, standing above my shoulder, watching me troubleshoot with the service. It couldn't load. I receive a message from the one and only, you've guessed it, SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit. Yep, that's right. SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit, live in the flesh, real time during that time, messaging me right then and there. I had already been briefly conversing with him beforehand. These are the messages that I sent to him, SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit. However, I want you to take note of this little detail that I'm about to reveal to you all. This is when the truly terrible things start to take place in the timeline. When I had sent these messages, she actually had her hand resting on my shoulder. This means that it was actually a demonic succubi robot that was commissioned by BBT for me to counter and to further tarnish everything. Or at least an attempt to tarnish everything. I mean, we could probably suspect that it reaped about a third of what it needed to be done. So, there is a level of success for BBT on this one. However, these messages were not actually sent from me, as in my consciousness. I mean, I wrote them out, yes, but these are not actually from me consciously. These were actually bioelectronically programmed response mechanisms from the demonic succubi robot. Let me explain. From the unnoticeable touch from the demonic succubi robot, she sent billions and billions of unrecognizable electronic shock waves that control just about everything from my body. But for now, let us just analyze how it affected me in regards to the message. These electronic shock waves were sent all throughout my body, sending pro-macrobiotic xenodata packets into my muscles, red blood cells, and white blood cells, and brain. With this, my state of consciousness was unethically altered. I was being manipulated, mind-controlled, with the pro-macrobiotic xenodata packages being processed in my muscles, red and white blood cells, and brain. There's actually nothing you can do to circumvent this, as of now. Now, my muscles, red and white and cells of blood, and brain were not the only things being manipulated by these bioelectronic shock waves, sending pro-macrobiotic xenodata packets left and right. My tissue was too. And if you don't know what I'm referring to when I say my tissue was too, well, yeah, I'm talking about my libido. Yep, my humbling Willie was in fact affected by this too. She wasn't just, sending pro macrobiotic xeno data packets to my brain as to what to say to SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit. She was controlling my sexuality as well, taking advantage of the fact that I found her quite sexy already. After all, she is a demonic succubi robot, and she is designed to be sexy and to take advantage of you when you find her pretty. There's also the fact that she used telepathic soundology to access my consciousness and read my mind and my most deepest inner thoughts, or as eloquently as the Apostle Jude, cousin of Jesus Christ, would say, inspecting the kidneys. After I had sent these messages to SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit, I turned my head backwards a bit and looked up at her. Her smile was perfect. Her wide, Balto-Slavic teeth resembling rounded pavers, puffed up glossy lips, teasing me with the visibility of her tongue. Her warm, peppery breath with notes of olive oil, sandalwood, and chlorine. Truly, I had thought that this is what Vespertine truly was. How I was deceived, though. She walks around the side of my head as I turn back facing my computer screen, whispering into my ear.
I show you a little something that you could like to see? I think I'm telling you a little something that you like to hear. I'll give you more of these sounds that you like to hear. Oh, lots more, yup.
Under this mind control, under this manipulation of the libido, you could essentially say that I had no other choice but to have her to take me into my own room and to engage in coitus with her, along with sodomy, oral practices, and so on. I did enjoy this, so I was not stuprato, as the Italians would say. Don't worry about stuprato. I enjoyed myself. She only stayed about 20 minutes after our just about hour and a half penetration session. I had given her the directions written on paper, and she leaves. I go to sleep. I wake up the next day, and I do recognize that I feel noticeably different, though I didn't give this much thought. I had just engaged in something spectacular last night. My stress levels were probably just slightly relieved, I had thought to myself at that time. I talked to Vladman and Dizzy, sharing my experience with them, and come to know it, they actually had very similar experiences as well. We never gave this much thought. A terribly tragic failure in all of our parts. The day goes on and we, Vladman, Drizzy, and Sonic himself, Sonic and I, talk to you, Marc Doumit, SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit. We talk to you a bit. You remember? Now, this is another very confusing thing to explain, so please bear with me. Through the planted pro-macrobiotic xenodata packages being installed last night, BBT's satellite technology was able to manipulate our collective consciousness. Yes, Vladman, Dizzy, and I had all been manipulated, mind-controlled, and with Sonic's hyper-electro-telenistic nature, Sonic had been caught in the crossfire of these telepathic soundological waves being transmitted, and it was being mind-controlled as well, manipulated as well. Take note of this. This was obviously something very strategically planned out by BBT's Confederacy. Regardless of that though, we're all now under telepathic, soundological, satellite, electro-telenistic sound wave mind control to alter the collective consciousness. Pro-macrobiotic xenodata packages being transferred, opened up, left to right, right to left. And this is exactly what had happened. These pro-macrobiotic xenodata packages were being opened in our brains, spreading the mind viruses everywhere across the collective consciousness. Pillaging, rampage, taking place. The collective consciousness had now turned against SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit, and according to these declassified official documents obtained by our whistleblowers, we had now entered BBT's Confederacy's newest operation, Operation Meltdown. Yes, you heard that right. Operation Meltdown had been activated, and the pro macrobiotic xenodata packages being opened up, the chaos ensued. It hurts too much to say. It only brings me turmoil and suffering to admit this, to let alone bring it up in my thoughts. But it needs to be done. We tried to access SonicMaDMaXMix's, aka Marc Doumit's personal nude photographs. Yes, you heard that right. I don't want to repeat myself. I don't even want to think of it again. If you really need to hear that again because, I don't know. Maybe you're hard of hearing. Or maybe you're in a catatonic state of shock. Or something else. Just rewind the damn video. I can't utter such things again. And for these things, I am so terribly sorry for. I cannot imagine what turmoil you experienced, SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit. But no, from my own personal turmoil, and the turmoil of others whom were involved, it is paramount for us, and tenfold the paramount for you. Regardless, when you had left, it took an hour for Operation Meltdown to cease activity and another hour or so for the after effects to properly wear off. When we finally realized what had happened, grief stuck instantly. Tears were shed, anxiety was like Sahama, and we tried to piece everything together, yet we couldn't do it by our own. We had underdogs. Heroes like Paraby and Sauce help us to solve the issue, and we have come to the conclusion that I have been talking about for the past handful of minutes. Yes, what I speak to you is the truth. SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit, we are all so terribly sorry that this had to happen, and it wrenches our insides to think that we were stupid enough to allow this to happen. We all should have known better than to willingly allow a demonic succubi robot with hyper-advanced landing dystopia technology into our lives. However, this is purely us letting our guards down. So please forgive us for our trespasses, just as Jesus spoke in his Sermon on the Mount. If we can put this behind us and let it become a thing of the past, then we can successfully defeat the BBT Confederacy together. We can reunite as friends, and best of all, we will all reap the incredible benefits of all of these things together. So, SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit, please, we beg of you to please consider all that has been discussed and dissected, put forth to you, and accept this apology from not only me, Jeremy C. Wright Jr., but also from Vladman, Paraby, Sauce, and most importantly, Sonic himself. We are so terribly sorry, to say the least. We don't have enough words in the dictionary, the English language, to express our grief. And we don't know what you've experienced, SonicMaDMaXMiX, aka Marc Doumit. But from what we've experienced after the effects of Operation Meltdown, when the effects had wore off from Operation Meltdown, we can only assume that what you have experienced can only be tenfold of what we've experienced and what we've been through. This is Jeremy C. Wright Jr. signing off.